Hello everybody, welcome to another Division video. This is AFH Clam. Um, I'm doing another build guide. This build guide is going to be for the 6-piece classified Sentry's Call. Now, a little history about the Sentry's Call. It used to be a build that was mainly focused and geared towards the sniper players. So if the sniper players um, needed, the advantage of landing, like really critical hits with their sniper rifle, this used to be the build that they would come to in order to snipe and play from a distance. But over the patches and everything, um, there has been a lot of rework that's been done to this particular build, so that this build now has a lot of utility. I mean, you can build this 6-piece classified Sentry's Call in such a way to where you can gear it towards sniping, you can gear it towards DPS, you can gear it towards tanking, you can gear it towards support. And that's really nice because the more utility a build has, the more usefulness that it has to not only yourself, but the group that you're running with. So I actually have two variants of this particular build here. I have the sniper one, which we're about to get into, and I have one that I use for utility and support. And that'll be in another video coming in the future here. That one is geared towards landing headshots to build up uh, to the 6-piece bonus that benefits your team, and we will cover that in this video. So let's go on ahead and jump into my gear here, and we'll spend a little time talking about it. And again, this is the sniper build. So before we get into that, let's take a look at what the 6-piece talent is. I want to go through all this stuff right here, but I think that you guys already know that usually with my videos, I like to refer these little parts here, descriptions of the set bonuses and everything. I like to leave that up to you guys to do your homework on. So I am going to provide you a little information on the 4-piece bonus, and we'll go over the 6-piece bonus. So the precursor before getting into all of the mods and everything that I have on my gear is this 4-piece bonus here. So when you have the 4-piece bonus on the Sentry's Call, it unlocks this talent right here. It's called Sentry's Call. Headshots using semi-automatic weapons marks the enemy, increasing the damage inflicted on the target by 5% for a duration of 30 seconds each. A target can receive up to 3 marks. And that's if you have just the 4-piece bonus and the 5-piece bonus, and if you don't have the 6-piece bonus, then I'll leave that up to you to figure out. Anyway, moving on to the 6-piece bonus. The 6-piece bonus here, the talent on it is called the Improved Sentry's Call. NPC targets can now receive up to 6 marks. After 1 mark, every headshot on the target has a 50% chance to spread a single mark to additional targets within 25 meters. At 6 marks, your headshot damage on the target is going to be increased by 100%. And I want to preface this with, what they don't tell you is that when those 6 marks strike, when those 6 marks are struck on your enemies and it shows above their head, it gives you the benefit of 30% more damage against the enemy, and that doesn't apply to just you, it also applies to your teammates. So I kind of feel in a way, I kind of feel like this build here is a little selfish because the Sentry's Call build, the way it was intended to use is for you to snipe from far away, land headshots so that your team benefits. You know, your team can inflict more damage on the enemies, and by doing the build in this way that I have it, you know, for the selfish purpose of just being a sniper, it takes that it kind of takes that advantage away from your team. I don't know. Am I crazy? Am I on the wrong, you know, thought pattern or train of thought? I don't know. You tell me. But anyway, let's skip over all that and we'll go over the talents that I have on my chess piece here. Or not talents, but all of the goodies and bonuses that I have on my chess piece here. So with this one, it dropped with firearms, and the firearms was rather high before I started putting mods on it. I don't want to take any of the mods out, but just trust me when I say that it was pretty high. So I kept the firearms, you know, to reach this goal right here of a little over 9,000 there. The major attributes are going to be 6% enemy armor damage because I want to blow their clothes off with a bullet as soon as it strikes. And to give myself a little bit more of sustainability, I decided to roll for health here. And since this is strictly for PVE versus PvP, I could use the 27% increased kill XP because it offers me more XP, and more XP means more proficiency caches, and more proficiency caches means a whole lot more loot that's just junk, but you always get that one little golden egg in there that you may want to keep, like a weapon or like a mod of some sort, like a weapon mod or like a gear mod of some sort. So just keep that in mind. Uh, More often than not, you end up getting trash, but there is that little nugget in there that you may want to keep. Moving on from the chess piece there, we're going to move on to the mask. Now, on the mask, when it dropped, it actually dropped with electronics. So what I did was I took away the electronics and I moved it over here to firearms because, again, I wanted to get to meet this standard right here for 9,000, a little over 9,000 there. So, with the major attributes, I decided to, instead of roll for crit hit chance, I wanted to give myself a little exotic damage resilience. Because even though I'm playing from afar, there's always that chance that an NPC is gonna lob a fire grenade at you, or if you're in a mission where you have to fight the guys with the flamethrowers or whatnot, sometimes they'll get you with that fire. So I just wanted to give myself a chance not to catch on fire, so I can keep on putting bullets downrange to help my teammates. Minor attribute, I decided to roll for 12% damage to elites, and I'll let you guess why. On my knee pads, this one dropped with health, and I decided to take away from the health and invest it into the firearms um, for what I stated earlier. Major attributes here, I decided to keep the 8% crit hit damage that it dropped with, roll higher on the firearms, but I had really low, what was it, blind deaf resistance. I think it dropped at like 10% or something like that. So I did away with that, and I decided to put the 16% damage to elites because this is PvE, and I want to put the hurt on them. So I put the damage to elites there. Moving on to my backpack. Let's talk about my backpack. Because I'm mainly going to be sniping, I decided not to roll ammo capacity on the chest piece and instead rolled for health. Whereas when this dropped, it didn't have ammo capacity on it, but I want to make sure that I have enough bullets to last through the mission. So what I did was I rolled 54% ammo capacity here on top of 8% crit hit damage here because, again, I want that crit hit damage to be high as I can get it. Moving on to the gloves. The gloves dropped in a way where I turned it into like the god gloves for sniping. So when it dropped, there was like a bullshit talent, there was a bullshit attribute here and one here. And since it already dropped with firearms on already, a little bit on the low side for my taste, but I can live with that. I was gonna make up the firearms anyway with other things, and we'll get into that later in this video. But anywho, I rolled out whatever attribute was here for marksman rifle damage, and I got it to max 12%, and some other corny talent that was right here. I can't even remember what it was, but I decided to roll that out for 6% crit hit chance because I want to have at least some sort of chance at landing a crit hit, because if I do have that chance to land a crit hit, it's gonna boom hit them like a train. All right, moving on. Holster. I decided not to do anything with the holster here as far as these three main stats right here, because look at how high these main stats are. This one could use a little bit of improvement, but I'm comfortable right there at 1365. But look, it rolled for 1375 on the firearms, 1389 on the electronics here, and I rolled out skill haste. Skill haste was here, and I rolled that out for crit hit chance because again, I want that chance to land that devastating critical hit. Alright, now that we're done talking about the gear, let's talk about the mods that I put on the gear. Now you're going to notice that these are purple mods. You're probably asking yourself, Clam, why don't you put the firearms mod on your gear with the 1% crit hit chance? That's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to put the hurt on whoever is shooting at me or my team. So I decided to go with this purple mod, and voila. Look at that. Prototype firearms mod. It only adds like 186 per mod that I have to my firearm stat here, but look at the bonus on it. 3% damage to elites. If they're gold and you're playing in World Tier 5 a lot anyway, you're going to run into a lot of elites and name bosses. This does apply to name bosses as well. So, I use this right here to put the hurt on them, send out that spank, and just obliterate them, delete them off the map. And those mods run true to the next three pieces here: the mask, the knee pads, and the backpack. Now let's go over my performance mods here. I decided to use the 2% critical hit damage performance mods because when I send that pulse out, it'll buff my critical hit damage, and I decided to use that on the backpack, the holster, and the knee pads here. Now, let's talk about the sniper rifle that I'm running here. This sniper rifle, and you could probably change this status right here when you start optimizing your gear with division tech, but every marksman rifle that drops, it offers you the free bonus of headshot damage. So I am dealing 153% headshot damage, and this is going to change when I start optimizing this build, because this build right here hasn't been optimized yet, and I reckon that when I optimize this build, it's going to be a devastating one to run when you're in that mood to hide in a corner and just snipe an enemy, out of the darkness. But anyway, base damage 167k per bullet, and the talents that I'm running, I am running brutal on this M700 carbon here. Headshot damage is increased by 12%, so that's 12% more added to here. So I'm pretty much running 165% headshot damage. So that's the talent of brutal. Prepared. Damage is increased by 15% when more than 30 meters from the target. So you could be 30 meters from the target, and if you land a hit against them, it buffs your damage by 15%. And elevated. increases your damage by 10% when elevated more than 1.2 meters above your target. I don't know how beneficial this is going to be for me because I can't really see myself in a situation where I'm 1.2 meters above my target. So I honestly feel like this talent right here is just garbage. But you know, for the sake of being able to run this for the sake of being able to run this M700 carbon, I decided to keep that anyway. So let's talk about the mods that I have on this sniper rifle here. The SR7 suppressor, 19% critical hit damage, 4.5% optimal range, 2.5% stability. Small grip, 19% critical hit damage, 5% reload speed, 2.5% stability, because, you know, this gun does have some recoil, so having a little more stability helps mitigate that recoil. Extended magazine. And you're probably wondering why I'm not going for a extended magazine or that has a higher magazine size. I figure I'm running a sniper rifle anyway. I don't really need the magazine size because of how powerful this thing hits. I don't really see myself needing to run, you know, 23 bullets in a magazine while I'm in a mission. 3% critical hit chance, 4.5% reload speed. VX1 scope. And I wish I had a better VX1 scope. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it later in the game where I can offer 18.5% headshot damage, but this one only deals 16.5% headshot damage, 4% critical hit damage, and another 2.5% critical hit chance. So that's how I'm running my M700 carbon. You know, as my backup, I have the LVOA. It's really irrelevant, but you know, I at least have these two talents to help that out in case I get into a situation where an enemy's running at my face and I need to pop out of cover and just delete them out of the mission completely. All right, moving on to our skills. I am running again the Recon Pack. I like to run the Recon Pack because the Recon Pack has a lot of utility for my playstyle. My playstyle is I like to have additional critical hit chance. I like to have the big critical hit damage, and I like to have the cooldown that benefits me. So here you go. This is what it offers. Here. There you go. All of those stats there. That's what it offers. And the immunizer. Okay, let's talk about the immunizer. I'm not running a lot of electronics. Every now and then, I wouldn't say very. Every now and then you might get that NPC that lobs the fire grenade, the shock grenade, the EMP or whatever at you, right? The immunizer protects you from that. And on top of that, you unlock the master here, so when you blow up that immunizer, it offers you 30% more health. So that's why I'm running that. Now let's go over the talents. Using critical save, I'll leave it up so you guys can read that. Hit pause if you need to. Strike back. And this helps a lot. Because you're a sniper, you're going to be playing in cover. This will benefit you greatly. Enter any cover to reduce recoil by 25% for 10 seconds. You can see why that benefits you. And this will also benefit you as well. Precision. Headshot a hostile to pulse them for 10 seconds, so that's extra pulse on top of a pulse, if you already have your pulse deployed. And of course, running this with that build, the reason is obvious. So, now that we're done taking a look at how my build is set up here, let's go on ahead and run into the mission. I'm going to play this first part of Lexington, and very often you'll see that I'm running Lexington in a lot of my build guide videos because Lexington, I can just clear the front part of it just to give you guys an idea of how the builds work, and then rinse and repeat if I need to. So let's go inside and destroy some NPCs. Alright. I'll deploy that. There we go. Oh, my pulse is down. My pulse is down. Good night, Sally. Good night, Sally. Aw, he killed me. You know what? That will not go unanswered. I want revenge. We'll do that again. Let's switch that over. Boom, headshot. Boom, headshot. Boom, headshot. Oh, I missed. I missed. Ha! Take that, fuckers. Alright. So that would be the power of the Sentry's call. It's kind of embarrassing dying the first time, but that motivates you. That makes you want to go back out there and seek vengeance, to which I have been able to do. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content that I made and presented to you here today, besides that little emotional death scene back there. But let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this sniper build. If there's anything that you could think of that can improve this sniper build just a little more, feel free to let me know. Send me a text message, reach me on Discord, catch me in game, or whatnot. The avenues that you have to contact me is limitless. I mean, and I could be contacted, at practically any time unless I'm sleeping. But anyway, that's all that I have for this video today. So, make sure that you apply what you learned here today. But other than that, stay tough and play rough, and I'll see you in the next video guide. See you later, agents.